Hello, everyone who's watching today. I'm really blessed and happy to have Malou here today as a guest. And I really wanted to introduce you to her because she works with voice. She's a vocal coach that combines that with inner development. And I've made the experience, especially in my past with all my clients and with my groups, I've been teaching that a lot, especially women, have problems with their voice, with finding their voice, going outside, being visible for the world, actually saying no is a huge thing. So there's a lot of things that have to do with the voice, where my clients and my former students had issues with. That's why I'm so happy to have Malou, who was also here in Returning to Essence last month, joining and teaching a masterclass. So I'm really happy you're here. And I can't wait to hear your story, how your path was, how you found your path, how you found your voice, and all these things. So do you maybe want to introduce yourself, first of all, and just share how your story was, how you found your voice, and how you came on this path?
Yes, of course. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you and on your channel. Thanks. Yes, so indeed, my name is Malou. I'm from Holland and I live in Spain since 2 years. And like for me, the voice is super connected to singing since I was very young. I loved singing. It was something that just came out of pure joy already when I was super young. I've got two older brothers. I always used to annoy them to the point that they would say, "Oh, please stop singing," like I was singing everywhere. And I didn't even notice that I was singing all the time. I was just singing was just for me like a natural thing to do. And then I remember that they had like this announcement, like if you want to join it was like a famous children's choir in Holland, then write now. So I remember I grabbed like a pencil, writing down the address and asking my mom, like, "Mom, can I send it? Can I apply?" And she said, like, "Yeah, sure." Like as if you're gonna come in, like not thinking anything of it. But I got in, and then actually my time started in a professional environment and singing, and I loved it. And I didn't realize actually how special it was to be so young and already being on TV, being in the studio, making albums, recordings. So that was just, I loved it. But then I think kind of like the hormones started to kick in, and I really felt kind of awkward, I think, with myself. I didn't really think I was that good. I was like, yeah, I'm so average. And I also thought like, oh, and I'm also kind of ugly actually. So I don't think this is for me. So still kept trying things, did like musical education, but I knew somewhere I knew I'm talented, but at the same time I thought I don't have what it takes. So then I started to take like a completely different route. I had like a super deep longing to discover what this whole world was about because I just didn't understand anything about life actually. Like my grandmother died when I was quite young, or that was for me like a significant moment where I really remember the questions hitting in, like, what, people die, and why doesn't anyone talk about that? So then I ditched the singing for a while, or at least the professional singing, and I just followed that quiz. So I started to study science of religion, did a master's in spiritual care, and then started to do more also inner development. So I did Reiki. I was a mindfulness trainer. Now here I am since 1.5 years working as a vocal coach. But this is a quick how I got here.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Think,
You said that there's this time in your life where you really started kind of doubting yourself. So, where you said, I didn't believe that you were kind of like good enough, or that you were not beautiful enough, or all these things. So how did you find after all, the courage to go back into your musical career, or your, yeah, that you are singing actually, or being visible?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, beautiful question. I think what actually brought me back to it has been my inner journey. That the more I started to listen inside, like, and release all the things that were in the way to really start to listen to myself more and more. So releasing, just like we all do, like we collaborate, all shitty experiences that like closes us off in a way. I think we all have, like, some people have like major traumas, other people have smaller traumas. And I started to work with that and like unpack, and I could just follow my heart and feel my heart clearer and clearer. And I just, whenever I had like a deep meditation, it just came up, always brought me to tears, like, I'm supposed to sing, I'm really supposed to sing. And it would be so clear to me, but I really didn't know. Like, I was also at a certain point, like a few years ago, I just started hearing songs, so I wrote down these songs. I started recording them, in a super small way, but also that didn't like really yet found, some people listen to it, but not really found the way to the world in a big way or something. So I just kept asking, I think inside, like, okay, what is the way for me? And then at a certain point, we were here in Spain already 2 years ago. And Andreas, my husband, he has like a business in selling beautiful lamps. It's called Spread the Light. Well, very nice. And we thought we were opening a shop. We just felt inspired to start renting a place and to open a shop. So I bumped into a place, I think this is the place. So, okay, cool. We rented it. And then we, like, silly enough, we found out that in that place, you cannot open a shop because there were certain measurements that were not okay. You had to go downstairs. It was just like silly rules in Spain. And then I realized, oh shit, I think this place is for me. I think we're not supposed to open a shop. I think this place is for me, that I need to start. And everything fell into place. I need to start a place here. I need to start singing with people. I need to start helping people find their voice. It was just like, at once I knew, and there was no way I was not going to do that. I just felt, okay. It just felt like it came falling down from the universe, and everything was already in place, and I just didn't know yet. And at once I was like, okay, this is for me. So, and I'm just following that, actually, that what I feel guided to do. And that's why I think I can do it now, because it comes from this deeper place, not from something inside me that thinks it is cool to work with a voice, or that I have a need to be famous, but just this inner journey that has their own story, but there is like definite overlaps that I have learned how to back myself up when I sing or when I speak, and to work with like your inner critic, how to face your stage fright that many people have, whether you're singing or speaking in front of people. Yeah, and then with the background of spiritual care, like, which I worked in for 10 years in hospitals and psychiatric care and elderly care and handicapped care. So I talk with so many people in different stages in their life through difficulties. And then I started to combine that with mindfulness. So I introduced already my meditation into my personal life, but also in my working life. And then now I feel as if it's all falling into place. And that actually also the mindfulness and the meditation is like, I'm adding another layer to it. That I think that in a way we have done, like many women have done already, so much work, so much inner work, and we are getting more and more comfortable with being with uncomfortable feelings and dealing with ourselves. But as if the next development is like how to also express that and show that in the world, instead of just us being with it and only sharing that in a super safe space. place, or writing it down, journaling, so that others actually can also start to relate with us that are maybe not yet there with us on that same inner journey, or they've just taken a different route. But how, to communicate from that authentic place, whether it is through singing or speaking. And yeah, I love it.
So I have a lot of questions now.
Yes. Okay.
So you said on the beginning that, you follow like this inner voice, and that you got these voices and this inner knowing. So how did you get there? I mean, what was your process in really connecting? Because especially the people, I think most of the people who are watching are really looking for that space and are actually trying to connect to this space and trying to hear this voice, but sometimes have difficulties. So what was your way to connecting to that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has been a development. Like, okay, I think we can talk about it in two layers. Like, one, like the inner way, and also the outer way, like what things helped me. So I don't know, shall I?
Yeah,
Which
both.
one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So for me, like the inner development has been one of trust. I think trusting my somewhere gut feeling that there must be more to life than just the life that I'm seeing and living every day. And in the beginning, I felt quite a bit weird about it, like looking at all the people around me just living their lives and not seemingly not having these questions, and then still being brave enough to listen to myself, like, but there must be something more, right? Or must be missing. So to really allow that question to pop up and start just to start looking for constantly. I just tried out many things. So I did different forms. It started actually with Iyengar yoga, which is a pretty physical form of yoga. And then did it for a while, loved it. And at a certain point I felt like, I'm not getting that spark out of it anymore. Started looking for another form of yoga, which was more like an inner yoga and very much related to emotion and trauma release. So like thinking, okay, your body stores all these things. And when we do certain movements and we do them super slow, then it starts to under. And I started to learn to let everything flush up that brought me actually out of alignment during my life. And from there on, dare to take a step to meditation. Like before, I remember meditation, like I tried meditating, but I really didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, okay, well, whenever I'm meditating, I'm thinking all the time. And, I forgot I was meditating and all, and I was doing something else, apparently, okay. And I felt like, okay, I can be with whatever. Started becoming a mindfulness training. And then hearing that inner voice, I think that was really, so before it was more like a gut feeling. And okay, do I still feel a spark? And then I was introduced to A Course in Miracles. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yesterday, actually, the first time.
Really? Wow.
Yes. And it was a huge coincidence, but it's a different story. Yeah.
I love it. Well, is that a coincidence?
Yeah, that's the question.
Nice. No. Yeah. I really believe that we are being guided also in that sense to the things that are helpful to us. So I have also, in a way, never been scared to let go of a certain thing or method that I tried. Whenever I felt like, I'm not learning or it doesn't resonate as strong anymore, I just opened up, like, okay, show me what's the next step. Not to superficially do as if I was doing spiritual shopping, but just honestly checking with myself, am I still learning, and is it still expanding, like, for me? So I was introduced to A Course in Miracles, which was, at first it was like a bit like, because they, you know, they use the terms God and Holy Spirit, and we are like the Son of God, and in the beginning was a bit like, okay. Pretty Christian, you know, and I wasn't raised Christian, but you know, the whole culture is still like filled with that. But then I could, in a way, I just felt that behind all these words, there was such big love. That resonated with me. And they talk about the Holy Spirit as the guide through life. And that you can actually have like a super personal relationship with the Holy Spirit as a guiding force. And you can call it Holy, or I don't call it Holy Spirit, to be honest. I call it like my inner knowing, my heart, or I think that's not really the issue, but there's just that there is wisdom and guidance that you can tune into. And also that was like, and still is, a development of trust, that even though I can't see it, I can smell it, I can hear it, and I can't feel it with my hands, that is true alignment. That is where that voice is coming from. That is where that knowing is coming from. And that is from which I guide all the sessions that I do with people, from that alignment, like opening up. I don't have to know the answers. And sometimes I'm more the one opening up, but I try, you know, to help people to start to resonate. So we both tune in to that source, and we have like a magical exchange.
Beautiful. Yes. So
in that, and then their releases happens. And
beautiful. Yeah, it really resonates with me. So for me, it was also first the releasing the traumas around I always call it the essence or soul, whatever you want to call it, but like who I truly am, releasing traumas. And the more I released these traumas, I started feeling more and more my gut feeling, and then trusting it. And for me, it was like a muscle that was trained. The more I trusted it, the more I saw that it really was like this. And then I started, also my mind started like, okay, so I see when you do this, actually nothing happens to you. So it really resonates what you said. So, but really, I want to even go deeper into trust, because I think it's such a big topic. And it has been really, like, for so many people around me, and clients, this topic of trust is so difficult. So how did you really learn for yourself to trust? And what is trust for you?
I love that question. Okay, great question. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
The word that comes up is fearlessness. Trust, in a way, trust is a fearless state. So yes, every time we are taking another step towards trust, fear comes up to be fleshed out. So I think that's the constant, that has been the constant step. Like, okay, take a step there, fear comes up again. Okay, face the fear. You know, one more step towards trust. Oh, shit, fear comes up again. Okay, face the fear of release, I think. And then, like, for example, when we decided, as a family, I've got 2 little children, we decided to sell our house during COVID and start traveling, which was already in itself like pretty brave decision, but we felt it very clearly in our hearts, like, this is what we're supposed to do. But shit hit the fan, my family, which for me brought up a lot of fear. Like, oh, I really have to break this pattern of wanting to please the people around me. Like, I want to be kind and nice to everyone, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Like, oh, we are like many people on the spiritual journey. They are just so sweet and kind because you are very connected to your heart, but at the same time, like people pleasing, it's, do you know what I mean?
Just repeat it once because now you froze. And it's stopped by people pleasing is.
Right, yeah. So okay, people pleasing, it's not a part of the spiritual path.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, even though for a long time, I did think it was
Yes.
like, oh, I have to be good and kind to the whole world, like some sort of Samaritan, even though I was not authentically at that place. Of course, like there is some people that are super developed, Dalai Lama, Jesus, whoever, that can like authentically be like that. But I was certainly not there. So I was actually like wanting to bypass and wanting to skip the level of really going to, yeah, to find my voice. Like, this is what I feel that I cannot continue living my life for others. I have to live my life from this source within, from what I feel is right. And I'm not doing that to hurt anyone. It's just, yeah, and then trusting it will be for the good, even though it seems like shit at the moment. It doesn't feel flowing with whoever around me, but it will be all right. And there is no other way than this way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. That's how I've felt many times. Yeah. But then it gets easier. It gets easier. The first times are shit and hard, and it gets easier. Yeah.
It's beautiful you're saying that because I had even a conversation yesterday about that because I was spiritual bypassing as well for a year and I was like blissed out all the time. And I thought, oh my God, this is life. I blissed out, but actually I didn't live life. Actually, I was not in my body. I was not experiencing life. I was just somewhere floating around the universe and bypassing life actually until I realized that all these emotions you were just talking about, all this voice, finding your voice, finding like that everything is a part of me. And I think it's so beautiful you just said it because a lot of people think that being spiritual or being on this path means you're always like this holy person, like you're always blissed out and happy, but it's not that way. Actually, it's exactly the opposite. It's about being in touch with emotions for me. So with all emotions and accepting all emotions. So I think it's really beautiful you said that because it's such a big topic. And also thank you for sharing fear because the way you shared it before about, finding trust means also facing fear is beautiful because I've seen so many clients saying, I just want to get rid of fear. I just want to just not that it doesn't exist, but actually, it is actually the guidance to trust. Like you said before, actually fear shows us where trust is, and it's not the opposite. So fear is actually guiding us to where we are, our true self, or trusting, in my perspective. And I think when you said it before, I felt it the same way. When you said fear is coming, you face fear, and then when you faced fear, trust even developed more and expanded more. I think it's so beautiful because it really shows that fear is something that we can start working with, right? So how do you deal with fear? How do you deal with these situations when fear comes up?
Yeah. Well, for a long time, I sat with fear. So I did my meditation and I just allowed, with an acceptant attitude. But I have discovered now that don't necessarily just have to sit with it, but I can actually do something to shift it, which has to do with the voice. So I start to voice fear, for example. Whenever I feel fear, like sometimes I feel it most of the time, in my belly, or I feel like I have like a tight throat, and I just give my voice over to the fear, and I start to experience more and more that actually working with the voice is just energy work. If that is your intention, like you can shift your energy with your voice. So you just give your yes with the same accepting energy to be expressed. So for example, like like maybe it feels like that. And then just allowing, and then I see it dissolving. Okay. That was fear. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's continue.
Beautiful.
Yeah, okay, let's continue. And I listen a lot to talk at the moment. I'm like completely obsessed with Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you know her. I can feel immediately rising my frequency. So I'm starting to think more in, okay, where do I want to tune into?
Yes, beautiful.
Okay, sometimes it doesn't work to just tune into something else. Sometimes it's like something stronger, that really needs to be faced. And then I will do that kind of work. But sometimes it's just like old habitual energy. And I can just, okay, I start to choose, okay, let's raise the energy. Let's invite good stuff in.
Beautiful. Yeah. Wow, thank you for sharing. So if there's one thing you would want the people who are listening to know, or what's really on your heart, is there something you really want to share, something like one message you wanna give?
Nice. Yeah, that if you have the feeling that you have been hiding like your voice for a very long time, like that there's actually so much that wants to come out, whether it is through singing or just screaming, or that just go to the beach on your own and just allow it. Or you feel like I want to jobs, or I also do like longer programs with people, in group or individual, and really, really, really go for it, because it's so liberating to finally like allow yourself, to fully be, instead of just this held back version of like, all these things and all this wisdom is arising, but where does it go? Then yeah, please join me or find another way, on this journey.
Yeah.
I really feel it's a beautiful next step if you feel if that resonates with you. Yeah.
I think finding the voice is something so important. And it was really like when you did the master class and you were kind of showing us also how to find the voice and how to, bring expression, what to the emotions, to what has to be released. It's so freeing. It was really freeing. And I think it's also a quantum leap kind of in the own life, because it's we are humans, and it's about expression, and it's about communication, and communicating the truth is really something that is so freeing, and allowing the self to say no, or to say whatever has to be said. So how can people work with you, or how can they find you? We will also post the link underneath where they can actually get in touch with you, but how can they work with you?
You mean like you are going to share the link and you want me now to say something about that,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So how can
Yes,
they work with you?
yeah, there is the main 3-month program in which we really dive deep into the topic of finding your voice, getting out of hiding, and depending on if you speak more freely, we tune into these kind of like expression forms. And so you will learn how to like authentically back yourself up to all the things that you already know and feel. So I always like to combine both the body work related to the voice with the emotional stuff. And I use songs that inspire you, maybe already that go with you for your whole life, but you've never actually like consciously looked at it. Usually there's like messages in that for you. So that's the main way I work with people. But I do have sometimes like master classes. I do also start a group program, also 3 months, kind of like that. But then of course, less individual attention, but still really, really beautiful. And it's nice to connect in the group, and the opportunity to actually work in a group and try out your voice in front of other people. And that's the layer that I really love. And some people are so all in that they just want to work a year with me, you know? So that's what I do.
Okay, thank you. So there will be a link where they can reach you underneath this video. So if you're interested, you can get in touch with Malou, then just press on the link. Yeah, it was really, really great having you. It's such a pleasure. I mean, I just love your energy. It's just so beautiful. And for all your inspiring words, I could have talked to you for hours now. So maybe we'll do a second part another time that maybe goes more into voice
Yeah,
and everything.
nice.
Let's see. Yeah, so thank you very much. And
Thank you.
yeah, have a beautiful day. And for everybody who's watching, see you soon. Have also a great day.